What is going on, world? Welcome back once again. My name is ZacNovak and this is ZacNovak Plays Games. In today's video, well, a little bit different, actually reviewing a sparrow, well, two sparrows to be exact. One because I kind of thought it was really interesting, and the other because, well, it just is also interesting. So roll the intros, let's get into it, hope you enjoy. Alrighty, getting straight into the video. Now the first sparrow that I do want to talk about is called the Annabel Lee. Now the reason why I want to talk about it is it's actually really interesting. This is kind of what it looks like. I do actually have it in game and I got it a while ago and only actually realized that it was interesting in the last few days simply because, well, I've been reading up on Destiny lore and some interesting stuff. So let's just go over this quickly. Annabel Lee was actually one of the last complete poems that Edgar Allan Poe did. Now we'll have to say that this in itself is kind of unique and very different simply for the fact of I don't really talk about stuff like this actually at all, mainly because I'm not that good at lore or anything of the such, but I will state that, well, this in itself, as you can see on screen, the synopsis, analysis and all the stuff like that, the poem's narrator describes his love for Annabel Lee, which began many years ago in a kingdom by the sea. They were young, their love for one another burned with such an intensity that the angels became envious. It is for that reason that the narrator believes the seraphim caused her death. Even so, their love is strong enough that it extends beyond the grave, and the narrator believes that the two souls are still entwined. Every night he dreams of Annabel Lee and sees the brightness of her eyes in the stars. Every night he lays down by her side in the tomb by the sea. This is kind of an extrovert here. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her, me, yes, that was the reason all men know in the kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. I do have to believe that this in itself actually does correlate with two other people we do actually know, Maya Sundaresh and her actual lover, Chayoma Essie. And I believe in such that it was the inspiration for this poem in itself to actually be put into Destiny to actually have, you know, its own kind of story. I do have to think that this is only a theory for myself. I do have to say is kind of correlating with the actual Annabel Lee poem, mainly for the fact of, well, they both want to see each other again and they can't until they both have passed. Now, moving on to the second sparrow, which is still pretty cool, not as cool, but it is actually cool in its own right. I will say that mainly this thing is cool because I haven't seen anyone else with it. It is a pretty cool looking sparrow, fairly unique, and you can actually get it from, I think, random drops from, I'm pretty sure, Cradle Engrams, or maybe just, you know, it's a random drop from all different people. This was the first time I did see a drop and I thought, well, this thing actually is pretty cool. It's kind of interesting, it looks very unique, and for myself I just thought, well, it's kind of like a surfboard sparrow and I haven't been able to get the actual exotic surfboard sparrow, so this will have to do for now. Now, what it actually does state: listen to the wisdom of the red planet. Now, the red planet we do know being Mars, but there is actually something, you know, also pretty grandiose about this idea of a classical Cepheid. I think that's how you say it. I'm pretty sure it's a Cepheid variable because, well, I googled it and this is kind of what came up. Just quickly, I did want to state, it doesn't come up in her loot pool, so let me know if you guys do know how to actually get it, just because, you know, just kind of interesting. Anyway, listen to the wisdom of the red planet. Well, going into it, a classical Cepheid variable, also known as population 1 Cepheids, type 1 Cepheids, or delta Cepheid variables. Now, classical Cepheid variables, what are they? Well, a classical Cepheid variable are 4 to 20 times more massive than the Sun, and around 1,000 to 50,000, which is over 200,000, for the unusual V810 Centauri, times more luminous. Spectroscopically, they are bright giants or low luminous supergiants of spectral class F6 to K2. The temperatures and spectral type vary as they pulsate. Their radii are a few tens to a few hundred times that of the Sun. More luminous Cepheids are cooler and larger and have longer periods. Along with the temporal changes, their radii also change during each pulsation. Example, 25% greater for the longer period of one car, resulting in the brightness variation of up to 2 magnitudes of wavelength. Well, that is a bunch of information that I myself just went straight over my head, but it is actually pretty interesting when you think about it. These things in themselves do actually exist in the galaxies in our actual universe, and in themselves they are 4 to 20 times bigger than the sun, and really they are out there kind of everywhere. If you want to Google stuff like this, it is pretty cool. I myself do think this is fairly interesting simply for the fact of, well, it actually looks like this in my mind. I think I'm not really 100% sure, but this is probably a good example. But going back to it, they do actually state that there is around 800 classical Cepheids which are known in our own Milky Way galaxy, and out of an expected total of over 6,000. Several thousand are more actually known in magnetic clouds, which in themselves are more known in other galaxies. The Hubble Space Telescope has identified classic Cepheids in NGC 4603, which is 100 million light years distant. So yeah, keep that in mind. We can actually see them from this far away, but they don't actually exist anymore because we're seeing them from this far away. However, they still do exist in a point in time when we can see them. So yeah, it's kind of cool. If that information went straight over your head, I definitely understand that. Maybe check out Google and actually, you know, look at this stuff, because it is kind of interesting. It's our galaxy, and well, Destiny actually kind of takes place in a galaxy a lot like ours, but I'm guessing it is in the future, in a space age future anyway. But that has pretty much been the video. 2 Sparrows, me babbling about a lot of stuff for quite a while. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, click that like button down below and let me know, have you got either of these Sparrows at all at any point in time while playing Destiny 2? Let me know, do you guys know how to actually get the classic Cepheid Sparrow? If you do know, let me know in the comment section. But anyway, do all that stuff and I'll be cheering like Karen if he was Ed Sheeran. But until next time, this is ZacNovak, signing off. Peace out.